unfortunately, in the future now, those of you who want to watch the Lions on a Sunday morning apparently will not now be able to go ahead and buy some booze or some beer or some wine in the morning because Governor Granholm vetoed yesterday a bill that would have allowed for Sunday morning beer and liquor sales in Michigan. Lance Bieniemy, the executive director for the Michigan Licensed Beverage Association, is on the other end of our line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael Patrick.
Well, why did the governor veto that bill?
Well, there were not just the early Sunday sales portion of the bill, but there were also other measures that amended the Michigan Liquor Control Code. And she mentioned three different oppositions to a few of those measures. The one thing that we were disappointed overall that she did veto, but the one thing that we are encouraged is, even in our veto message, she did say that she was supportive of the early Sunday sales portion of that bill.
Yeah, so what happens now? Can the bill be amended quickly so that she could sign it before she leaves office, or is it too late for that?
It's too late for that. There are two options, and one is to override the governor's veto, which hasn't happened in this governor's term.
Mm-hmm.
But the second option is to start over with a different piece of legislation. But we are running out of time, so we will be talking to some legislative leaders in both the House and Senate to see what their thoughts are and their options are, because there were clearly a number of supporters for both on the House and Senate side for this measure.
Well, do you think the legislature would really give her a goodbye present like that, a veto override?
Again, I can't speculate on how the Senate Majority Leader or the Speaker of the House feel about it, but certainly we'll be talking about those options, and we'll be going for whatever we want to. This is certainly something that we think is a boost to the hospitality industry in Michigan, and we hope they take a look at those options regardless if it's a veto override or a new legislation.
In the governor's letter, she was careful to say that she, supported it in general, and if it could be fixed, she could sign it. Was that a way of signaling that, go ahead and make the override? She really supports it? Would she do that, or is it too embarrassing for a governor to have a veto overridden?
Certainly I think it was clear that she doesn't support some of the options in the bill that passed in some of those provisions. And she did separate herself in her letter, saying she supported the early Sunday sales and some of the other provisions, but there were three provisions, I guess, that she felt she couldn't support. So I don't know. Maybe it was a punt to the legislature, and they can go from there.
What were the three, real quickly, most distasteful things that the governor didn't like in the bill?
There was an added catering permit that allowed for on-premise licensees to provide alcohol to off-premise events. There is also a provision to allow for a specific number of community colleges to have a liquor license. And then the third was off-premise locations were given the ability to sample beer, wine, and spirits within the legislation, and she didn't agree to the sample sizes. She thought they were a little too high.
Really? That's what this is about? That someone's going to have a wine tasting and pour too much wine in the glass?
Again, Michael Patrick, we were disappointed that the governor did end up vetoing, and we think it was a bill that was going to really encourage growth in the hospitality industry, and we hope the legislature comes back and revisits it.
Well, in 30 minutes you can have a breakfast beer and start to feel a little good about it, I guess. But sorry about the news, Lance. We'll keep in touch, okay?
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you very much. Lance Bieniemy, Executive Director, Michigan Licensed Beverage Association. The governor vetoed Sunday liquor sales. We'll find out why from some legislators later in the program. Stay tuned.